Yes, many old buildings. Like I say, I had copper mines. I was huge with mining, the steam mining things. I also had Chinese mining. It was slow at first, but then as production got up, as they started to mine more and more and more and more, and they were able to mine huge amounts of minerals, and things really started to take off. Like I say, my life, my existence had different parts, and the human race loved challenges. Like I say, you give a human or a people a challenge, and especially if they're fed, and they'll do amazing things. So some of these buildings, like I say, of what's called, I had a shipping trade empire. I had shipping empires. I had people. I had groups everywhere across the planet. Great inventor, creator of humanity. Like I say, in the beginning, maybe they didn't know that I was creator to humanity exactly. I was just maybe, I don't know, some leader they knew. Um, Working with many different groups, gypsies, basically just about everyone on the planet. And as the groups changed, and asking them to do things, trying out new ideas. Like I say, the stock market, of course, to have a stock market, you need a big room, of course. So I was insanely wealthy anyway. Had all these different groups. I could ask almost anyone. I could be like, hey, Germans, I need this built. Or can we build this building or something? I forget exactly. It was because my steam trains were, and my steam shovels. Building was easy. You know, you could have a steam shovel and some dynamite and boom, and there you go. You know, I didn't do any of the, beating rocks with hammers. It's like, what's the point of that? There's got to be a better way. So, but when you get to start getting the crushed rocks and stuff, and also it also had to do with my mines too. You know, I had a lot of waste coming out of the mines, and it's like, well, maybe we could use this for something. I forget exactly the details of it. And it also has to do with just that I had a lot of bells. You need bells to tell the town when to get up, to come to work. Bells to tell them when it was lunchtime. Bells to tell them when it was time to go home. Anyway, and sometimes in the old days, you'd ring a bell at 1 o'clock, tell the town what time it is, basically. And other commerce would happen throughout the town because somebody way out the hills could know, oh, it's 3 o'clock, okay, and they would, know things. So anyway, and over the years, I wanted to try out and test out some other ideas, like having like 8 bells, to try and ring a song or something like that. And of course, I paid someone to design it and make it work. And it's like, well, I'm going to have this big old stock market downstairs where there's going to be all these trades of like, I want 2 ships of cotton, or I need 3 ships of sugar, and blah, blah. And we were testing out the whole idea of the stock market, or the commodities market, basically. And it kind of also borders on the fact that just these things need to be shipped or whatever. Anyway, I forget the exact details. It's kind of like putting your mind in a blender and going, blah, 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 with the whole building of everything. It's crazy. So, like I say, we were starting towns. I had trains going around, groups setting up new houses. I would ignore a town for like 3 months, and all of a sudden it's like, well, how many people to a room? Well, there's 5 or 6 people to a room. Oh, that's too many. We need to move those people out. You can't have 7 people in a room. It's like, well, they have nowhere to go. Well, that looks like a time to build. So, and I had rail lines going out. So it's like, build a rail line, pick a spot. Okay, that's now a mine. All right. Or candles or something like that. Find a resource. So I was starting a lot of things too. Starting with ships, getting a shipping empire, having people build wooden ships and paying them. Like I say, at first pay or whatever. It's kind of like, they're doing this thing, civilization, and getting that started. And then, and then once civilization got some momentum, it was just like rolling forward, like, and I was just basically like riding the wave, as a master inventor, creator of humanity. I didn't have to, like I said, I didn't really have to lead, but I mean, my people, they love me. Like my people were like, we want you to lead. It's like, okay, let's go. I mean, I love the lead. I love, the feeling of being with my people, of surviving with my people, struggling with my people. And like the new steam engines and everything. Like, it was a great joy to actually be working with so many groups. Like I say, I miss my younger years. I really do, because there was that real connection where me and my people were surviving together. If they died, I died, and we were just like together. And it was a great feeling. I loved it. Being an inventor with them, working with them. It wasn't like, oh, great God. It was like I'm your leader and you're my people and we're doing this. And so things were being built, and it was like heaven, actually. I mean, they were just living their lives. Sometimes times were hard, sometimes they were great. I mean, civilization, humanity went through its paces of, sometimes things are hard and there's sickness and death and dealing with that and stuff like that. But there were those great times where huge empires and lots of ships and everything else. Once we got some of the things, and then when we got the steam power, then things were really getting good, and humanity was able to venture into the cold a lot more and survive in the cold more. Anyway, a lot of these buildings are relics of my existence or my past. It's kind of sad that the bricks and stone buildings are falling down, but I mean, they wanted to do something, and together. They're called churches now, but once upon a time they were the stock markets or the commodities market or this market or that market. I say there was money to be made, or nations were trading with each other. There was the trading market with the Indians and money, and metal. So, like I said, the currency was based on metal at first. You can take X amount of coins and make a pot or a knife out of it. So, and you can go kill something, or anyway, it's silly. At first civilization was a joke. It was like this thing we were trying that we didn't know if it would work or not. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Maybe people starve anyway. But getting it going and stuff, I mean, like I say, I mean, most people didn't take civilization too seriously. Most people didn't take money too seriously. It's like, yeah, it's this thing that Lucifer or someone's trying. Maybe it'll work. But first we need to eat and food and farms and stuff. So there was a lot going on, and having these buildings built was just kind of like fun stuff. So that's why you see all the old buildings with the bricks and the stones. And sometimes it was like, can you use stone on the bottom and then brick on the top and do all this stuff? I mean, just testing out new ideas for structural buildings. So that's why you see those, and then you see the big ring of bells and stuff. And having different groups, I'd be like, well, who can come up with a bell system? So somebody, and then I'd be like, okay, here's 150 whatever. So they would be paid, and they would have money, and their family would eat very well, and it would be like rain from heaven, I guess. I don't know. Like I say, I just, at a time I had so much money that I was just helping people. I had to spend the money because I was making, there's just so much of it. Everybody was spending, was paying taxes. Everybody, most of the money was going for or most of the food tax was first. Or each town would give up one person, and we would form a party out of that. Like one little town would give up a person, another person would come from another town, and then they would go and they would do things in this one town, and then they would move on to the next town, and then the next town, and the next town, and they would do that for 10 years or something like that. It was kind of like we tried different things over the years. So anyway, yeah. So, and then now we have these buildings which have been around for 200 or 300 years. So, anyway, concrete's a lot better. But in the old days, yes, we did that kind of stuff. So, anyway, and a vast empire and civilization sprung up. I knew it was possible, but, well, I didn't know, but I mean, at first I was like, well, I hope it works. So, Anyway, and it did work. Yay! Some people would say, of course it worked, but I don't know. It was a struggle.